אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי. All sing to you, all praise to you, O source of all creation. We call your name, we sing your praise, O Holy One of blessing. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי, אהללה, אהללה. אז אמרה לאלוהי בעודי.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Temple Israel. It's good to have you with us here in the sanctuary, and also to welcome everybody who is joining us over StreamSpot to bring in Shabbat, bring in our day of rest. Invite everyone to please rise as we mark the beginning of our sacred time with the lighting of Shabbat candles.
It's harder than it looks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
May be seated. We turn to Kabbalat Shabbat in our Siddur Lev Shalem, page 11. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector, filled with thanks. Let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Page 11, Lechun Ranana.
Lechun ranena l'Adonai nari, aletzor yishenu, lekadma fanav zotav izmiro nari alokia v'varnem Arba'im shana kubedor va'omar ramto elevavhem vehem ledu derachai asher nishbati v'api im yevon amenuchati.
Sing to Adonai a new song. Sing to Adonai all the earth. Page 13, Shirul Adonai Shir Chadash.
Shirul Adonai Shir Chadash, Shirul Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shirul Adonai Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Try that. Shirul Adonai Shir Chadash, Shirul Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shirul Adonai Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato. Sapru v'goyim kevodo, bechol ha'amim niflotav, ki gadol Adonai umhulal meod, norahu al kol Elohim. Shirul Adonai Shir Chadash, Shirul Adonai Kol Haaretz, Shirul Adonai Baruch Shemo, Basru miyom liyom Yeshuato, ki kol Elohei בשמיים עשה, הוד והדר לפניו, עוז ותפארת במקדשו, שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, מסרו מיום ליום ישועתו. שירו לאדוני, שירו לאדוני. ישמחו השמיים ותגל הארץ, ירם הים ומלואו, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו, אז ירננו כל התייר. לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים באמונתו.
We continue the final 3 lines on page 20, Romamu.
ישתחוו להר קודשו, וישתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, כי קדוש, אדוני אלוהינו.
We continue on page 23 with Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, hishmianu el hameyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'nitilah. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi מקור הברכה.
seated, we turn to the bottom of page 28, the beautiful concluding words of Psalm 92. The righteous shall flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai. They flourish in our God's courtyards. The middle of page 28, Sadiq Katamar Yifrach.
Join your voices with mine. Sadiq Katamar Yifrach, Kerez Barvanon Iske Shetulim Beveit Adonai Bechatrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Orinuvun Beseva Deshenim Berananim Yiu Lehagig Ki Hashar Adonai Tzuri Velo Avlatabo.
Page 29.
Adonai Malaki Ulavesh Lavesh Adonai Oti Tazar Aptikon Tevel Baletimot Mikolot Maim Rabim Adirim Ishpereyam Adir Bamarom Adonai Erotechanen Numilevitchana Vakodesh Adonai Lehorech Yamin.
I invite everyone to please rise as we begin the Shabbat by thinking of our loved ones. If they're there in physical proximity close to you, reach out with your hands. If they're far away, reach out with your hearts, and we share with them the words of Birkat Kohanim, the priestly blessing.
Yevarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha Ken yehi ratzon.
May Adonai bless you and guard you.
Yair Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka Ken yehi ratzon.
May Adonai show you favor and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasim lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon yasim lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon yasim lecha shalom. Ken yehi ratzon.
May Adonai show you kindness and grant you peace. Ken yehi ratzon.
Ken yehi
May it
ratzon.
be God's will. May be seated. Now turn to prayers for healing to those in our lives in need of physical and spiritual well-being. Included in our prayers this Shabbat, we think of Chana Miriam bat Rivka, Avram Mordechai ben Fega, Rav Yaakov Chai ben Hadassah, Shimon ben Yaakov Mordechai ben Naomi, Devorah bat Sarah, Hershel Yehoshua ben Malka, Carol bat Rezel, Dov ben Ita, Shmuel Yaakov ben Kalia va'ari, Devorah Rachel, Malka bat Sarah, Leib Yisrael ben Sipora, Eliza Meira bat Leah, Tivya bat Chana, Yudit bat Miriam, Fegela bat Chasha, Arya ben Malka, Kalman Pinchas ben Moshe ve'eta, Sarah bat Chaim Shlomo, Sarah bat Chaya, Chanach Yitzchak ben Sarah, Sarah bat Shendol, Binyamin Noah, Aver Yitzchak, Yosef ben Miriam, Shiri Ruth Batya bat Yaakov Yerushalayim, Cyril ben Moshe Kalman, Miriam Tzivya bat Aaron Betova, Raphael ben Perel, Chaim Yitzchak ben Gittel Fegel, Leah bat Ruth, Dawson Julia, Elijah Villa, Jordana Faith Ram, Mabel Tannenbaum, Kathy Berlin, Sandra Harold, Don Roth, Philip LaMancha, Tamara Rivera, Irene Janet Locker, Marty Shefflin, Linda Castellanos, Thomas Clark, David Shmuel Ben Chaim Beryl, Miriam Daniela Bat Areli Vimoshe. Now take this moment to recite the names of anyone else you'd like to pray for this Shabbat. Prayer for healing.
מי שברך אבותינו מקור הברכה לאמותינו, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We turn to page 30, and I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to please rise and join me in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayei techol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehi shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'lomei olmaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'elam inkol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'yimru Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol yoshvei tevel v'yimru Amen. May be seated. In the lead up to my bar mitzvah some time ago, my parents offered me a choice that I've heard many parents offer their children. After the service, you can either have a party or you can have a trip to Israel. I chose the trip to Israel. We went for a month in the summer of 1997, and the month culminated in celebrating my bar mitzvah at Moreshet Yisrael, the Masorti synagogue in downtown Jerusalem, on a Monday morning where I read Torah. In fact, it was this week's Torah portion, the Parsha of Akev, the portion in Deuteronomy that we will read tomorrow. What I remember several things about that experience, but in the weeks we were in Israel leading up to that Monday morning, my mother and I went around Jerusalem trying to find the cafe that would host our family and friends for breakfast following services. Because what's a bar mitzvah without a seudat mitzvah, without little kiddush afterwards? Given the number of restaurants in Jerusalem, it was actually more challenging than you would expect. We settled on a cafe down the street from the restaurant called Savion. You would not have heard the name Savion, but unfortunately this particular restaurant was in the news several years later when it had been sold, turned into the Moment nightclub, and then was blown up in a terrorist attack. But at the time, it was standard Israeli Jerusalem cafe, We went in, we had breakfast, we talked to the owner, and we worked out arrangements for our guests to come there after finishing Minyan at Moreshet Yisrael and to have a choice of a prefix menu. They could choose from one of 3 options for breakfast. I was really excited. Teenager who kept kosher, wandering around Jerusalem, open to seeing the number of kosher restaurants, the easy availability of kosher food. I liked eating in Israel. The day of the bar mitzvah came. Service was wonderful. I did a really good job, if I may say so myself. And we all walked down the street to Savion, to this restaurant for breakfast. We walked in, we had sat down, and immediately the waitstaff came out and started putting the same meal in front of every single person. Nowhere to be seen were the menus that we had agreed on where people could choose what they wanted. Upset, I went to my mother and said, "What are they doing? We agreed. I was there. I was at the meeting when we decided people were going to get to choose what they wanted to eat." My mother, who was at this point was sick of dealing with Israeli restaurateurs, basically told me to be quiet and eat my breakfast. What she could have done, though, would be to say, "Michael, look at the Torah portion you just read, the Torah portion of Akev, a Torah portion that describes the Israelites who have been living in the desert for 40 years, wandering, a desert where all they had to eat was this manna that fell from heaven, where they were constantly running out of water, looking for the next site where they would camp. And they were about to go from that land of scarcity, of nothingness, to the land of Israel, a land described as filled with milk and honey, a land with streams and springs and fountains issuing from plain and hill, a land of wheat and barley, of vines, figs, and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land where you may eat food without stint." They're about to have everything. And as they're on the verge of about to have everything, God gives them an instruction. "When you have eaten your fill, give thanks to the Lord your God for the good land which God has given you." God reminds them to be grateful for what they have, to give thanks each and every time they eat. This verse in Hebrew, ve'achalta ve'savata uve'rachta, is cited as the source for the Jewish practice of Birkat Hamazon, the grace after meals, or benching. Birkat Hamazon, one of those key experiences in Jewish summer camps, and actually part of a Temple Israel Sunday morning minyan in normal times after the minyan breakfast, thanking God for the food that has been put before us. But the verse literally translated, "V'achalta v'savata uve'rachta," raises some questions, because it actually means, you shall eat, you shall be satisfied, and then you shall thank. So the questions that some commentators raise on this verse is, what if you have the first step, you eat, but you don't have the second step, the savata, you don't have everything you want. You are not fully satisfied. You don't get everything you want. Or maybe you can't have everything you want. Maybe you only have the bare minimum. Do you have to do the third step, berachta? Do you still thank? And Jewish tradition says the answer to that question is most definitely yes. Our Chumash contains the beautiful comment of the Hasidic rabbi Shlomo of Karlin, who taught when one eats in a spirit of gratitude, whether there is much food or little, the meal is satisfying. Whether we are talking about food or whether we are talking about anything else in our lives, Judaism, the Torah, God encourages us to be thankful for whatever it is, even if it is not exactly perfect, even if it is not exactly everything. We gain more out of the experience when we are thankful for what it is that we have, and when we are able to thank God and to thank the people around us for what we have been given. Shabbat Shalom. We continue with the Mari of the evening service, beginning with the Baruch Hu on page 39. Please rise. be seated. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from before the light.
ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה, אדוני צבאות שמו, אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד, ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב הרבי.
Amen. Page 40.
אהבת עולם בית ישראל עמך, אהבת תורה ומצוות ומשפטים את עבודתם, יהם חיינו ואורך ימינו, ובהם נגע יומם ולילה, ובטחת ממנו לעולמים, ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, והם שמעו תשמעו סתר שאינכם מצוות חמים לב. Adonai Elohechem, amen.
Page 43. Then Moses, Miriam, and the people Israel joyfully sang this song to you, Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, page 44.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ומרים ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ואמרו כולם, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך באלים, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, מי כמוך יפחד אדוני את יעקב וגילו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גל ישראל.
Amen. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Blessed are you who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem. Page 45, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom leshalom. Beha'amidenu malkeinu lechaim chaim ufros aleinu sukkot shlomecha shlomecha. When I lay down at night, when I rest my head, oh God, watch over me. And when the morning comes, we thank Adonai and pray for peace. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom vehamidenu malkeinu lechaim. Ushmor tzitenu vo'enu lechaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukkot shalomecha. Baruch ata Adonai haporei sukkot shalom aleinu ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים.
Amen. Page 46, we rise for Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ויתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה ויעמד יברח חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עולמי יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויברא ותרומה וירצה ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה בריחו תהילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תמירן בעלמא וימרו
Amen. We spend the next few moments in silent prayer, the words of the Amidah, beginning on page 47.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam
grant lasting peace to your people Israel and to all who dwell on earth. Blessed are you who blesses your people Israel with peace. Page 54, Kaddish Shalem.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
אמן.
ועמד יברח חירותי במלכותי בחייכון ובמכון ובחייתך בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קריב אמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם לא מעומיה יתברך. יתברך וישבח ויבר ותרומה וינשא ויתזר ויצלח ויצלח שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דמירן מעמה ואמרו אמן. תתקבל צלתון ובלתון זוכי ישראל קודם אבוני וישמעי ואמרו אמן. יהי שם הרב מן שמעי וחיים אלינו וכל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרום אף הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ואמרו אמן.
Amen. We turn to page 55. I invite you to please rise. Like anyone pre-bar bat mitzvah would like to join me on the bima for Kiddush. Page 55. Any takers? Come on up.
There's grape juice. Yay. Always like to have you on the beach.
All right, RJ, you're representing. No. Davri, Maranan, Rabbanan, Rabotai, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yavav ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי באנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
אמן.
Chaim.
לחיים.
Page 56, Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוצר הארץ, מושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת זו בגבי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, כך כתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, והארץ מתוך הארנות פינות. המלכות שלך לעולם תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
be seated. This Shabbat, we mark the yortzites of Albert Edelstein, Eleanor Rich, Abe Weinstein, Richard Bedrick, Derek Levy, Stanley Wasserman, Ted Valenstein, Ida Rushvarg, Louis Schifrin, Betty Elbaum Grobstein, Phoebe Abrahams, Ethel Stern Cohen, Rose Cohen Fisher, Joseph Millman, Jeannie Rausch, Nathan Arnold Rausch, Erwin Glucroft, Mary Jane Silverman, Bessie Couchman, Mildred Malman, William Goldberg, Jacqueline Smith, Anna Goldberg, Max Putterman, Damiana Rivera, Blossom Glickman, Marilyn Shapiro, Ernest Golden, Sharon Scher, Marilyn Freeman, and Rosalind Mann. We also extend condolences to the family of Jacob Dembin, who is in a period of shloshim following his passing. Page 58, I invite those in mourning or marking a yortzeit to rise and join me in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Page 58. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba v'yalmad yivera kirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehi shemei rabba mevorach le'olam u'lamei omaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudsha prichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'amiran b'yalma v'yimru amen yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. May be seated. I'm happy to call on Nikki Sachs for some words of greeting on behalf of the Temple Israel Board.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome, all congregants and guests. Thank you, Rabbi Wolk, Cantor Lissick, for leading us in a wonderful service this evening, Adam, for your beautiful piano playing, and Sean Sievert for your AV support. Thank you, Alyssa Levine, a member of the Board of Trustees, for welcoming our congregants and guests. And we invite, if anyone would like to volunteer to become a greeter, we would love to have you, and also for the high holidays. If you're interested, please sign up online or give a call to Karen Turk, our interim executive director, or Aaron Goldstein, our membership director. Also, please join Rabbi Wolk, Cantor Lissick, and our Temple Israel summer speaker, Alan Jonathan, who many of you know, our youth director, for services tomorrow at 9:30. For those of you attending in person, Dr. Max and Susan Greenman will be sponsoring tomorrow morning's sweet treat in honor of Rabbi Wolk, Rabbi Kornskold, Cantor Lissick, and Teresa Brenner. Should you be interested in sponsoring a sweet treat for weekly Shabbat services, please call Karen Turk. Temple Israel Religious School enrollment and annual renewals are occurring now. Thank you to everyone who has already renewed. If you haven't done so yet, register and renew this week, please. You won't want to miss being with your old and new friends at TI Religious School this fall. And parents will have a meetup on Sunday, August 15th at 10 a.m. You can find all the details online. There are a number of opportunities coming up for everyone to connect with our Temple Israel family, and we invite you to join them. Splash into Shabbat with Torah Tots will be on Friday, August 6th at 4:30 p.m. at the Levine JCC pool. There'll be splashing, songs, a Shabbat service, a delicious kid-friendly pizza dinner with a gluten-free option. Pre-registration is required. Empty Nesters, our affiliate group for those parenting a young adult, parenting their parents, and looking forward to retirement, or just starting to dip into that Social Security account, will be gathering for a midsummer social in our courtyard on Thursday, August 12th at 5:30. Again, please register online. WODI, Women of Temple Israel's Rosh Chodesh summer discussion, when Temple Israel says, "Welcome home, what do we mean?" We'll have the season finale on August 15th, a Sunday at 2 p.m., featuring Rabbi Wolk. All are welcome. Social Club will host L'chaim 5782 on Sunday, August 13th at 3 p.m., welcoming in the new year with Rabbi Wolk's greetings and Alan Kaufman's entertainment. Additional details are online. The Rose Room gift shop is open on Tuesdays from 9:30 to 11:30 a.m. with Stephanie Meadow, and on Fridays from 10:15 to noon with Cindy McManus, and also by appointment or anytime online. The gift shop is also looking for volunteers. If you have a few hours a week and you'd like to volunteer, please contact Stephanie. And after Shabbat, please visit our website, Call Israel, and your weekly email for complete information about in-person services, the Stream Spot box, the Zoom link for Evening Minyan, and upcoming events. We offer many opportunities for services, learning, community, and friendship, and we hope you will join us. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom. Thank you, Nikki. We conclude our Kabbalat Shabbat on page 5 with Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharit, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachi Asharit, Malachi Elyon, Mimelech Malachi HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch